Today, I just wanted to give you a little bit of an explanation of the indirect object pronouns, as some of you have asked me if I could explain a little bit further. So first of all, I put here the grammar tutorials that we have in our program, and I just wanted to go over it with you a little bit instead of just giving you my 5 cents, so that, well, more than 5 cents, that's more like a few dollars. But that way I don't go off track and I go over what you have seen and see. If we were in a classroom, in a real classroom, you would be able to actually ask me here. So, but of course you can always put it in the discussion board and ask me, okay? So don't hesitate to ask me. So what the video tutorial is talking about, first of all, is what it is. You did understand well what the direct object pronoun was, which you did in elementary one. Now we're talking about what's called the indirect, which is responding to the question to whom, for whom, or from whom something is done. So in the example here, let's just hear it first.
Remember, a pronoun replaces a noun when the noun has already been mentioned in the conversation. Just as a subject pronoun replaces a noun used as the subject of a verb, an indirect object pronoun replaces a noun that functions as an indirect object.
That was the subject. That was
A
clear.
noun or pronoun functions as an object when it tells who or what the action of the verb affects.
That was the direct object pronoun. What?
An indirect object is one that the verb acts on indirectly. That is, the action is done to someone or something else, but the indirect object is also affected.
So just to clarify this, because sometimes when they're talking like this, I can see how it gets a little confusing because they're saying it really fast. They're using a lot of words. So basically what you're doing now is that, first of all, here you have a sentence where you say send, manda, un regalo, a gift, and then le. So think of it this way. Un regalo, that's the direct object pronoun, okay? So that's the object that receives that action, and we call it direct because it responds to the question whom or what. Plain and simple, okay? So if it was a person, yo la veo, I see her. In this case, is to send a gift, yo lo mando, o ella lo manda. That was the direct that you learned last semester. Now, you are learning when you're doing something for whom, to whom, or even from whom. For example, you receive something from somebody, which is one of the examples they give you here. So that will be the one with the le, the mete, le, nosotros les, okay? Good thing about this one is that you don't have to worry about the gender. So both feminine and masculine will be le. So you have to worry about the number, of course, if it's he, she, or them, so that if it's them, it's les, okay? So that's one easier thing, so to speak, about this one. But let's see what they say.
In Spanish, indirect object pronouns also identify someone from whom something is gotten.
So basically this one, what it's saying is I bought a sweater from her. Compré un suéter a ella. The reason why they put it here, from whom, is because, you can buy something for somebody or from somebody, okay? That's the indirect, okay? Now the suéter would be here the direct. Lo compré. I bought it. So this is I bought it from her. So this here, that is from whom you bought that sweater.
In Spanish, indirect object pronouns share some forms with direct object pronouns.
Okay, so that was good. What I wanted to say about this that's important, and I know that you've seen it already, is that here is a verb that's in present simple In this case, they give you also a past simple, but it's not a compound verb. And therefore, that le will go before the conjugated verb. So like the example said, yo le mando, yo le digo, okay? So here's where I wanted to show you this. So for example, if you're saying, yo, this is not working very well. I don't know why. Yo, it's working now. Digo. Remember that we've seen the verb decir. Yo digo, I say, okay? And then algo, okay? So you're saying something. That is the direct object pronoun, okay? So what happens with this one is that if you were to substitute this algo for a pronoun, that's the direct object. I'm just going to put it here with an O. If this algo, this something, I say something, you substitute it for a pronoun, you're going to say yo lo digo, right? So first and foremost, what I wanted you to understand today in the lesson is that we're going to see now that this position in the sentence can move when you have a compound verb. But this is not a compound verb. This is a simple verb. It says, I say something. Let's go now to the indirect. Now, here you were saying, I'm saying something, right? Direct. Now I'm going to say, I'm saying something to somebody. Okay? So and this we're going to leave it here because otherwise we're going to go into other subjects, okay, like putting them together and stuff. Yo le digo, that means I say to him or her. In this case, another thing that we learned in this lesson is that you have yo le digo, and then you can say a Maria que, so I tell her that, whatever, okay? So here what you're saying is that you are actually telling her, and that's the key here. You're telling her, yo le digo. So you're saying something to whom? To her. See? Okay, maybe on. The next one that we're going to see is when you can position this, I say something to him, I say something to her, okay? Or I am buying something for someone or from someone. This will be the le, the mete le, nosos les, okay? In this tutorial, the second one is the placement when you have two parts of this compound verb, un compuesto. Now let's hear the video first, and I'm going to stop it when I think that it's complicated.
In Spanish, indirect object pronouns are usually found immediately before the verb.
That's what we said before. Okay, so this would be le da una rosa. Okay, so he gives her a rosa. So in this case, for example, if you were to put it on the board again, it would be le da una rosa. Okay, so this is to her. Okay, this is what the le. So in bad English, you could say that here we're saying, actually, let me try something else. We're saying, no, I know, I'm going to put it like this. To her, he gives. So if we were to speak in some sort of Pig Latin, to her, he gives a rose. This is basically how you could say that in Spanish we're putting it in this funny order. Le da una rosa. To her, he gives a rose. Okay? So this is another way to look at it. If you were to look at the structure exactly how it would sound in bad English, this is what it would be like. So now let's take a look, because what's going to happen now is that this structure where we put it always before the conjugated verb, now we're going to have a type of verb that has two parts, the compound ones. So this compound verbs will be, for example, let's say quiero, I want, mandar. Remember that they were sending a gift? Okay, so quiero mandar. Quiero mandar is actually the type of compound that has a conjugated verb and an infinitive. You see? Conjugated and infinitive. These types, you will be able to put that le before and after, like so. You can put the le here. Le quiero mandar. I want to send to him ... whatever. Okay. And now, the other way. Quiero mandar le. And notice that I'm putting this one here attached. So the rule is you can put it at the end attached or at the beginning detached. Again, this is only for this compound verbs, meaning that you have two parts, okay? Not the simple one that we saw before. So again, I'm just going to put it here. You can do le quiero mandar. I want to send him or her. Detach at the beginning. Or you can say quiero mandar le attached at the end. You can do that with all your pronouns, indirect, direct, and reflexive. Okay? Let me give you an example of the direct that you learned last year. Let's say that you want to send the package that lady was sending in the video. You could say lo, because you're referring to the package now. Lo quiero mandar. I want to send it. Okay? You can do the same thing. Quiero mandarlo. Okay? It's important that it goes attached to the end, not detached. Okay? So that's what we're going to take a look at the video right now. Let's see if we can find other things.
In the case of compound verbs that are composed of an auxiliary verb and an infinitive or present participle, direct object pronouns can be attached to the end of the main verb.
See, that's attached to the end. This is another example. When you can have an auxiliary. In this case, quiero mandar was a conjugated verb plus an infinitive. And in this one example here is a present participle. What they mean is the ing verbs. So you're saying he is buying, está comprándole. So you see that it's at the end attached. Okay.
Attaching the pronoun to the infinitive or present participle is optional. The indirect object pronoun can also be placed just before the compound verb.
So that reminded me about the optional. It is true, and a lot of my students ask me this question, and I want you to know that you usually ask me when we're in class, which one do I use, which one is correct. They're both correct. We use them randomly. There's no right or wrong with it, basically before detached or after attached. Sometimes at this stage of elementary 1 and 2, I always tell you, if you have difficulty with this, just pick one, because they're both fine. However, you will find them in all the texts that you read, so it's good to get used to seeing both and knowing both. Le está comprando 12 rosas. So he's buying for her 12
If a sentence
roses.
is negative, the indirect object pronoun is placed between the negative word and the verb.
Basically, to make this easier for you, the no always goes before the pronoun. So no le compro, no te compro, no le estoy comprando. And then if the pronoun goes at the end, comprándole, then the no goes before the verb. So basically, the no goes before the conjugated verb. If there's a pronoun there, then you put it before, like here, like this way, okay? No le compra rosas. I don't know what this lady was doing. I think she's sneezing, but anyway. So I hope this helps you a little bit with the placement of the indirect and direct object pronouns. So I'm going to post this on our Blackboard. And I hope you like my little video with this new program that I have, that I can record my screen, which is kind of complicated, but I finally got the gist of it. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions. Send me posts in the discussion board or emails or whatever. Okay, thank you. Adiós. Hasta luego.